RoUSD has been launched for a couple of days now, but we continue to see some very big moves being made around RoUSD, specifically around listings through some of these major exchanges, like, for an example, Independent Reserve. And you definitely have to focus on this, but I want to also address a much bigger picture for RoUSD and why XRP holders should be fully focused on the adoption of RoUSD as well. So with that being said, welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. And also, what are you guys waiting for? Join the free Discord. You guys won't regret it, especially now. It's time to lock in officially because this market is about to erupt in a big way. So join up in the free Discord. You won't regret it. And with that being said, let's dive on in. So yes, Independent Reserve is the first crypto exchange in Singapore to list stablecoin Ripple USD, RoUSD. And this is actually very exciting because we are starting to see a lot more adoption around RoUSD. It's only going to continue from here on out. We're going to see a lot more listings around RoUSD as well once we do continue to kind of go forward into 2025 and beyond. But the good news is, guess what? This isn't where the story stops. Because this is just some exchanges listing RoUSD, which allows, individuals in Singapore to basically buy it, sell it, trade it, utilize it, which is always good to see, right? On and off ramps are crucial. But also, if we go over here to the official announcement, and I did talk about this official announcement already, it's kind of crazy to see 2.3 million views. It just goes to show you how big of a name Ripple actually is. But if we look at this, right, the wording is what I'm really kind of focused on. An enterprise-grade stablecoin. Enterprise-grade stablecoin. That's the big thing to focus on. Enterprise-grade stablecoin. Why? Why is that so important? Well, let's talk about it because, David Schwartz also basically told us why this is important. We're going to talk about that here later in this video. But let's start off with this because this is Ripple CLO, Stuart Alderati, saying, when this regulatory cloud is lifted and we get some policy clarity in the US, we will then be the most trusted source for enterprise support for crypto solutions in the US. A new era is coming for crypto in the US, and Ripple XRP has positioned themselves to be a pillar of the industry. Regardless of your thought process, regardless of your beliefs around this space, it's very clear that the US is about to change completely around their focus on crypto. In 2025, we are going to see very big regulatory strides being made in the US. I do think that we will have a stablecoin framework in the US. I think that will be officially live by the end of the year. And by the end of 2025, we should also have a global crypto regulatory framework in place as well. And the reason why I say that is because of all the regulatory moves being made outside of the US. But listen closely to the CLO of Ripple when he is saying this.
Hopefully, when this regulatory cloud is lifted and we get some policy clarity in the US, we will then be the most trusted source for enterprise support for crypto solutions in the US.
I mean, tokenization is...
So again, if we're thinking about Ripple and all of the connections that it has, and how transparent of a company Ripple has been as well, I really do think that Ripple is about to really kind of become a very significant leader, not just outside of the US, but also in the US. I think in the US, it's a much bigger deal because, Ripple has always been, in my opinion, a US-based company. I know that a lot of people have been speculating on if it is or not. To me, it's always been a US-based, company. Now, 90% of their clients, their customers are outside of the US. I want you guys to understand that. But that's because of the last 4 years of dealing with the SEC, which in my opinion kind of hindered a lot of adoption in the US. But I do think that they are about to take the US market by storm, especially with this new regulatory shift happening in 2025. But the focus here is enterprise, right? The most trusted source for enterprise support. Even over here, if we go back to the 15th about the announcement of the operationally ready stablecoin, right? We have from Uphold, exciting news. Uphold is proud to partner with Ripple for the launch of RoUSD, a compliance-focused stablecoin built for financial institutions and enterprises. There we have it again. It's built for financial institutions and enterprises. real-time payments, liquidity management, tokenization of real world assets, and more, all with the stability of the US dollar. Now, also, Brad Garlinghouse did say, kicking off Ripple Swell with a bang. RoUSD has been nearly a year in the making, and with our trusted exchange partners, market makers, and advisory board, RoUSD is set to become the gold standard for enterprise-grade stablecoins, built on trust, liquidity, and compliance. All throughout this entire process, all we keep hearing about is enterprise, enterprise, enterprise. This is very important. Even over here, we have, going back to July, Ripple's ambition is to be the #1 digital asset infrastructure provider for financial services by building the core components, on and off ramps, custody, compliance, and liquidity needed for enterprises to integrate blockchain into their businesses. Again, the full focus here is by integrating blockchain into their business. Enterprises are the biggest names out there. Some of them have access to hundreds of millions of users. By integrating blockchain into their business model, that means that mass adoption gets accelerated. That means that we see mass utilization of the tech also accelerated. Are you starting to see the big picture here? Over here we have from Good Morning Crypto. Big news. Ripple is a platinum member of American Bankers Association, June of 2024. Ripple is a leader in enterprise blockchain and crypto solutions, transforming how the world moves, manages, tokenizes, and stores value. Citing that XRP is a green digital asset helping create a world without economic borders. Here's why this is important. Legitimacy enhances Ripple's credibility within traditional banking by association with the ABA. Advocacy provides influence over banking policies and regulations. Networking facilitates partnerships and business opportunities with banks. Education promotes blockchain education among bankers. Market expansion opens new markets for Ripple's blockchain solutions in banking. The American Bankers Association is noted as the largest financial trade group in the United States, representing banks of all sizes, including community banks, regional banks, and large money center banks, federal savings associations, mutual savings banks, and trust companies. It's stated that ABA members employ more than 2 million people, safeguard 18 trillion in deposits, and extend nearly 11 trillion in loans, which implies a significant number of member institutions. The average member bank has approximately 250 million in assets, and together, ABA members represent over 95% of the industry's 13.5 trillion in assets. Now, again, if we look down here, right, this is going back to June of 2024. They've been a member since June of 2024. Ripple is the leader in enterprise blockchain and crypto solutions. And they're using a green digital asset, XRP. And this is how they're going to deliver and build crypto solutions for a world without economic borders. Again, this shows you how big of a player Ripple is. It goes to show you how well connected Ripple is. It also shows you that once the enterprises are ready and the institutions are ready, all of a sudden, Ripple is there to capture a very large percentage of all of it. Now, I bring all of this up. I want to focus on all of this, specifically that word enterprise. And even when we look at Ripple, their core focus is to make sure that enterprises can integrate blockchain into their business. Why is this all important? Because of this. Check this out. This is David Schwartz, the CTO of Ripple. It's kind of obvious now, but it's been logical for a long time. And this is from Uptown Saul. Check this out.
I think the challenge there is I don't think I realized how critical good on-ramps and off-ramps would be to making that work. The technology can't hand money to somebody who needs to have cash. I think the vision now is similar to what drove the adoption of the internet, similar to what drove the adoption of like the international movements of goods. Enterprise adoption that paves the way for retail adoption is, I think, what looks like what's going to happen, at least based on, the past 2 years. So I think the new 10-year vision is enterprise products like stablecoins, like real-world asset tokenization, like, commercial lending and real estate lending, but that enable DeFi ecosystems that have things like ways to get yield, ways to manage your money, ways to hold the assets that you want to hold. I think the challenge.
And just listening to that one more time, listen closely to what he is telling you here.
There is, I don't think I realized how critical good on-ramps and off-ramps would be to making that work. The technology can't hand money to somebody who needs to have cash. I think the vision now is similar to what drove the adoption of the internet, similar to what drove the adoption of like the international movements of goods. Enterprise adoption that paves the way for retail adoption is, I think, what looks like what's going to happen, at least based on, the past 2 years.
So the vision is enterprise adoption, which will lead us down the path to retail adoption. This is what I mean by some of these enterprises have connections back to tens of millions of individuals, hundreds of millions of individuals. So if we think about that, right, them integrating blockchain within their tech stack immediately provides a ramp to mass adoption, mass utilization. And you know what's crazy about this? What are they waiting for? What are the enterprises waiting for? Well, now that they have RoUSD, which is compliant, it's regulated, it's one of the most regulated stablecoins, that's a huge step. But if we think about regulations for crypto, which is going to be happening in 2025, here we have Stefan Thomas. I like to compare Ripple to Cisco because they didn't need to own TCP and IP. They didn't need to make it proprietary. They benefited plenty by being the best vendor for enterprise grade routers. And so what we want to be is sort of the best vendor for enterprise grade routers for money. And we want XRP to be the best asset for routing money. Now, mind you, right? Ripple being at the forefront of compliance and regulation first, XRP being cleared in the court of law as not a security, all of this feels like it's all fallen into place around crypto being regulated in 2025, which is going to be the biggest obstacle gone around enterprise grade adoption, and Ripple's right there to capture a large portion of that market with XRP and the XRPL. Check this out.
That kind of lock-in.
I often like to compare Ripple to Cisco because Cisco, they didn't need to own TCP IP. They didn't need to make it proprietary. They benefited plenty by being the best vendor for sort of enterprise-grade routers. And so what we want to be is like the best vendor for enterprise-grade routers for money. And we want XRP to be the best asset for routing money. And so at the height of the internet boom, actually became the largest company in the world by market cap, just to give you an idea of how big of an opportunity that could be. And so for us, that's plenty big. And in fact, if we didn't pursue this kind of strategy, if we pursued a strategy like, let's say the Bitcoin maximalists, where you're trying to get everyone to use your particular currency and your thing, then the risk that you're taking is that some other interoperability solution does come out, and then other people are optimizing their solutions for that world, and you have missed the boat. And so we think it's very important to build for like an interoperable future where there is a lot of competition, because that's driving us to have very high efficiency and very good user experience and so on.
And yeah, I mean, listen, if we really think about it, Ripple is paving the way for them to be that enterprise source, basically. They have the infrastructure ready to onboard all of these enterprises, and it's one of the best infrastructures ever created around this space. Ripple has been dialed in for well over a decade. Do you honestly think that they are just going to be like a small-time player around this space? No. Ripple is a blue chip. I compare Ripple to some of these big names. If we're thinking about, what David Schwartz did say, right? Back in the .com, time frame with the internet and things, right? Some of the biggest players out there like Amazon, Google, Apple. I mean, listen, these companies are as big as they are today because they have some of the best product offering. Ripple will be as big as these companies because they have one of the best product offerings, and they dialed it in for well over a decade. Ripple has been around since going all the way back to like 2006, and they have been absolutely building. They have been building since. They have not stopped building. They continue to push forward, and they continue to become a much bigger name year over year over year. And with crypto continuing to grow, with crypto becoming more legit with, regulations, guess what? We have a green light. we have a green light for Ripple and XRP in a big way. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely leave a like, subscribe, so notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.